JR, we had a conversation about this on another channel, right? And they were saying that um sometimes abuse happens. My stance on that was most of the time, unless somebody has a mental disorder, it's a progression into that. And we should be able to identify things that could lead to that progression and avoid them completely so you never find yourself in those situations. So
Can I say something? We're just to be clear, because I don't know what the chat is understanding, but we're not saying these men are promoting but domestic violence or that they are. Our issue was what Bruiser was saying specifically and how he was what it appears to be to us trying to justify reasons for why sometimes that could happen to somebody. So this is not we're trying to make them in abusers. That's not what's going on. And to your point, Marcus, there are they have trainings for people who went through domestic violence, and there are signs like when men or even a spouse, whoever isolates you, the one of the first things try to remove you from everybody around you. That's like one of the clearest signs that it's about to progress into something else.
So Vegas, let me just say one thing, and I'm not gonna shoot myself in the foot this time. So people think that I did. So I don't like to use the word justification or justify in the terms the way I was trying to pour out my context on the topic. Well, what I will try to do is think of a young boy walking to a store and he's still some Debbie cakes or some chips and pop. Yes, it's stealing is wrong. We could leave it at that, or we can look at the details.
The problem for me was when I asked you about cheating.
I'm gonna land my plane.
I know you're playing, but I gave you a chance to
land my plane. Your ticket was invalid. It was invalid. You didn't make it. You didn't make the flight. So
what?
Think of the boy. You said you was on my plane, and I just said your ticket was invalid. You didn't make the flight.
I know where you're going. You said this already.
Okay, well, I gotta say it for the sake of replay and video clip or whatever. So the boy, the details, the reason why the details matter, because then you would find that the boy was either homeless, he was in poverty, he was hungry, and he didn't have a meal to eat. So what he did, he went in there and he took a couple of Debbie cakes and some chips, and he took it back home for him and his little brother to eat. And his mother is out on the streets doing drugs, his father not there. And he just had to figure out a way to eat that night. But yeah, we can leave it at, oh, you shouldn't steal, and just leave it at that. Yeah, it's wrong. And I'm not trying to justify it, but I'm saying the details will give you an understanding of why this actually happened.
So when it came to a woman's infidelity or a woman raising her voice, you don't care about the details. And that's my issue with you. The details matter for the things that you want them to matter for.
Sexual immorality.
Why not? Maybe she has issues.
You can already understand the details.
Oh, so
sexual immorality.
Right. When it's something offensive to the man, the details don't matter.
There's two people consensually committing infidelity. There's two.
There are reasons for things, right? Human behavior, a lot of times triggered by something, right? Especially when somebody does something out of the norm. Would you agree to that?
Okay, continue.
So then there's never a case where you need to understand the reason why a woman may have stepped out on her husband?
No, I already understand it.
Oh, okay.
What about if a man step out on his wife? Do you think there needs to be a reason, or do you think there's nothing that needs to be said?
You asking me a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think she should understand it.
Yo, this is ridiculous.
It's
the same thing. I understand why a woman would step out. She wanted to have.
What I'm asking is, does words have to be explained, or can she just move straight to that's some bullshit? I'm out. Just like
yes. If I sat there and say, hey, look, I'm gonna marry you, I'm gonna make you my wife. These are my vows. This is our covenant under God, and I break it. Yes, she can move on.
Oh, my question was, when I first came, why did he say women should never divorce? But now he's saying something else. So okay.
Yeah, but then Sweeney, go ahead.
Y'all never gave him a chance to actually fully get a thought out before y'all jumped on him, so he couldn't.
That's why I got Sweeney there.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. He did, but no, excuse me. He gave an answer. So much so I had a follow-up question. So then I said, so if he abuses, brings a baby, does he any reason at all? So he did give an answer.
He's literally talking. You got to let him finish the thought.
No, he finished it, and then I had a follow-up question. Here you are again. Why are you like, is this your child? Why do you keep stepping in trying to why do you keep stepping in trying to talk for him? He's a grown man.
Are you aware that you just did that like 5 minutes ago while he was literally explaining something, and then you say, "Oh, I get your point," and you just jumped in and started.
I understood his point this time because he's been making the same point. I didn't do that when I first came here.
Yes, you did. And
no, I didn't.
Like times to let him finish his thought.
No, you didn't. You're a liar now. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But it's interesting that you keep stepping in and talk for him. Why? Why do you keep doing that?
Why can I not?
I'm talking to Bruiser, not you. I didn't ask you because you didn't say the thing, but you keep trying to defend the thing. Why?
You gave me the floor, so I mean.
No, but why do you keep trying to defend him?
I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't know why we're arguing over why we're having a meta conversation about it rather than just having a conversation.
Well, because I wanted to talk to him about what came out of his mouth, but you keep jumping in, so that's why we're having a meta conversation now.
Well, he let me have the floor to answer the question because obviously he can't get his, you know what I mean? So I was like just trying to create a reference of understanding. I'm not trying to fight a quarrel or fight with y'all. I'm just trying to get it. We trying to help Bruiser out, get him more, because obviously he's having a hard time getting it through to y'all. And actually, JR has also explained this. He said sometimes when one person says something, it doesn't come off the same way, and then it takes other people to, maybe if somebody else is able to explain it, you'll get a better understanding. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be his savior. I'm just trying to help you understand, because maybe coming from him is not getting through. That's the only thing, because right now y'all are just fighting, and that's not good for the audience. That's not good for the panel. That's not good for anyone.
That is what submission looks like. I mean, cooperation. But yeah, appreciate that. Because one thing you got to understand, man, I'm fair. I would say I'm fairly new to the space. And Lapeef Network is probably like ushered me into content creation, like birth Bruiser for real. So the guy to my left and right, they got more experience than me in the space, and they're able to articulate themselves in a way that I haven't maybe embraced yet. So I would say I'm still learning, but I know a lot, but that don't mean that I know everything. So these guys are able to speak to y'all in a way where y'all can maybe understand it from a different perspective. No shade to myself or my intellect. It's just every man on this panel, and that's the reason why we have different men on the panel. We're not an echo chamber. We have different characteristics and different personalities, and some ideologies are different. But you know what I'm saying? So I lean on Sweeney on things, and Sweeney lean on me on things, and same vice versa with Trey Smooth in the Realm and JR. We lean on each other. We're kings. That's why we have king talk.
So you need 3 other men to make your point for you as a king.
And see, this is the problem. This is why men can't have a circle.
Yeah, I'm not going for it. I'm sorry.
Because
you understand what you were saying very well, and you kept doubling down, and you're full of shit. That's that.
See how the disrespect is. You see the disrespect? I never disrespected her once. And this is her hitting me first.
So I should get slapped now, right?
I just a metaphor. See, now you said slap. You said now you put those words out. I didn't say that.
Why'd you say anything about a hit? Why'd you say that? I told you to stop talking. I tried to help you, but you keep on doing it.
One thing about you got to understand that this is a space for us to communicate and talk on a panel. So saying that somebody should stop talking doesn't it really
about
doesn't.
That issue earlier, I was like, you probably should stop talking about this, because every time you talk about it, you kind of make it worse.
One thing y'all hyenas ain't gonna do is come on here and tell men that they need to stop talking.
You're right.
When we've been quiet for a long time, and we finally starting to see the BS and starting to stand up for masculinity and started to stand up on principle. And now y'all want us to stop talking. But just because you get in your feelings, you can't understand us. We should stop talking.
I understand them. I don't understand you right now. That's what I don't understand. It's not them. It's you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
You are saying.
I'm sorry. And that's the reason why I lean on my brothers to my left and right. And now that I leaned on my brothers on my left and right, you want to discount that. So there's no way to give you no understanding.
Because y'all don't share a brain. I understand where they stand because they're not the ones saying the things that you're saying. You stand somewhere else.
Well, if he said, never mind.
I'm not saying nothing different. They all had my back on the things I'm saying. I've said they made it rephrase it in a way that's more, what do you say, tact. I think we had a conversation about tact and being candid. I probably was more candid with my statements and they were more tact with theirs. So you can understand it because you get in your feelings a lot. So they have to butter it up for you, so to speak.
I really just listen to like exactly what the things that people say and just accept them, like exactly what they say.
You haven't accepted nothing we said yet.
It's just, why do you keep saying we? You're the only one saying the problematic stuff about women.
Okay, what did I say problematic about women?
We already went over it. When the girl raised her voice, it was, well, I can understand why somebody would cock back and slap her.
Then we gave you further context so you can understand that you may have interpreted it the wrong way, and you still leaving with the notion that I got a negative stance on women. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong?
I don't know if you have a negative stance on women, but I think your view of how things can get physical, you might need to revisit that particular thought process.
No.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I mean,
no, I think I gave a clear understanding of how.
I think it's fair to say that words do lead to physical fights. I've seen, we watched live when Will Smith went up there and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. He ain't do shit but say words, and he got the shit smacked out of him. I've seen women hit their men just because he called her the B word or called out her name. I've seen women. We just talked about acrimony, and the entire beginning of the movie, she was putting hands on him and running a car through his thing, trying to kill him.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understood that part. Again, the other parts that y'all are like looking over, like even when he gave his examples, he was like, maybe she didn't cook that day, maybe she didn't clean. Like they're problematic parts, but we could like move past it. It is what it is.